Hello, I'm Sinusoids. Welcome to my channel, Learning Builds Life. Today we are going to talk about anatomical terminology and now terms describing vessels. Vessels. So let's begin. Our first term is arteries. And the arteries carry oxygenated blood. That means blood containing oxygen. They carry oxygenated blood. They carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. Away from the heart. But an exception to this remark are the pulmonary and umbilical arteries. And umbilical arteries, since they carry deoxygenated blood. That means blood which does not contain oxygen. Deoxygenated blood. These arteries are similar to trees. They are similar to trees because they have like branches. And these branches are called arterials. Arterials. So now you may take a look at the board before we move on to our next few terms. Moving on to veins. And veins carry deoxygenated blood towards the heart. Carry deoxygenated blood towards the heart. But as always, there is an exception of the pulmonary and the umbilical veins. The pulmonary and umbilical veins, these carry oxygenated blood. Now, a special thing about veins is that they have valves. They have valves which help in the unidirectional flow of blood. Valves which help in the unidirectional flow of blood. And by the word unidirectional, it means in one direction. These valves in the veins help in one direction for the flow of the blood. And finally, the veins, these resemble rivers because they have venials as tributaries which all come together to form that single vein. They have venials. And these venials are like homologous to arterioles of arteries. That means arterioles have arteries have arterioles and veins have venols. Now you may take a look at the board before we move on to our next few terms. Moving on to our next few terms, we have sinusoids. And what is the meaning of this word sinusoid? Sinusoids are large, irregular, vascular spaces in some organs, and they are surrounded by parenchyma of that specific organ. Surrounded by parenchyma. And what is the meaning of this word parenchyma? Well, parenchyma is one type of a tissue, like supportive or connective tissue or other types of tissue. Parenchyma is also one such type of tissue which surrounds these irregular vascular spaces, and the organs in which they are seen are liver, spleen. Liver and spleen are close together in body location. Bone marrow, then suprarenal glands. And what does the word suprarenal mean? Supra comes from the word on top of, and renal means relating to the kidneys. That means relating to on top of the kidneys. The suprarenal glands are types of glands present on top of the kidneys, and also the parathyroid glands. Parathyroid glands. That was all about sinusoids, so now you may take a look at the board once again. Moving on to our next few terms. Moving on to veni comitatus. Number 2, veni comitatus. Now, the name sounds intriguing, so let's see some description about this veni comitatus. Veni comitatus are basically two veins, each on one side of a middle-sized artery, which are joined across each other. And mainly these arteries will be present in any of the limbs. So that was about veni comitatus. Our next term is capillaries. And this name may sound familiar, and the capillaries are connections of microscopic, it's a network basically, a network of microscopic vessels and this network of microscopic vessels connects the arterioles and the venols, connecting arterioles and venols. Lastly, we have anastomosis. what are these anastomoses? Anastomoses are basically like the pre-capillary and post-capillary vessels. It means the vessels either before the capillaries or after the capillaries, which pre-capillary means before and post-capillary means after. So those connections of those neighboring vessels are called anastomosis. Connections between neighboring vessels. So now you may take a look at the board. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.